Well, welcome back, everyone, to the North American Smite Challenger Circuit Championship, as well as their Road to Worlds qualifiers here in North America. It's Gormizer. I got Mifflin on the desk with me. And, of course, we've been having a pretty fun week so far here in North America. Action-packed is the way I always like to describe the NASCC. And so far today has not disappointed to the point where we even... earlier today, saw the SCC or the SOC, the open circuit teams that have qualified. One of them knocking out an SCC team for the second week in a row. Now my eyes are on We Pull Up to see what they can do, because that's where the hopes reside. Considering Mifflin, we just saw Blubberbottoms get knocked out. That means that all of the SOC, that open circuit hope to get to Worlds, is riding on one team.
But that one team's a pretty talented one. I expect them to keep things interesting, but as the week goes on and some of these teams start to get called, we only look at the cream that's on the top.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're getting stronger and stronger every day, so it becomes a bit more difficult for the SOC, but I'm sure they got something left.
Especially because, and we're going to get into this in a second, but the team that's behind you, the Hounds, that's a whole other beast to try and tackle here.
Yeah.
We'll see, though, how things have been shaking out, taking a look at the bracket, specifically what we just saw there in Group B. You know, yesterday we watched the Sages and the Tanuki win their respective sets. Sages and Tanuki, I believe, playing a little bit later today. Right now, no, wait, that's... Yes, they're going to be playing later today.
That's
I
right.
got completely turned around here. My brain was wanting to go to Group A. That's a little bit later. We just watched the Storm take out Blubberbottoms, and they're going to be waiting for the loser of match number 8. That's going to be the last one today. Winner of match 8, though, advances to the elimination stage. Winner of match 10 will join them. So Sages and Tanuki, that's going to be a very heavy-handed one to end the day with, essentially qualifying to the top 4, taking that one big leap closer to finalizing yourself in the top 2 and potentially going to Worlds. Big deal there for Group B, and specifically to end the day. But right now, Mifflin, is going to be match number 7, which is over in Group A. And that's going to be the Hounds and the Wardens, the one that we're going to be taking on. Pull Up just beat the Weavers earlier today. Tomorrow, and I believe they will be starting the day off the loser of whoever wins this. That's an elimination match, as well as a qualification match, right? Today, what we're about to watch, someone's going into the top 4. Tomorrow, the last team will get eliminated from this group, and we'll slowly isolate ourselves down. And then Sunday, we'll get to the bottom 2. Those are the 2 that go to Worlds. That's the thing that is going to make everyone happy. Very similar bracket to this one. Just going to be with the final 4 teams that remain. But right now, it's all about the Hounds, and it's all about the Wardens trying to come out on top here. Big qualification match for them. And if you look over towards the team that I had highlighted just a second ago, right behind your back, the Eldritch Hounds come into this tournament as the first seed. Haven't lost a set this year. Honestly, have high expectations. I think we've said it a few times, but if they want to be a team that beats any SBL team, they have to do like Hex Mambo did and have a mostly clean run. I actually think it was in this exact set, this exact scenario, that Hex Mambo lost one of their games. But the Hounds definitely have that same fire kind of put underneath them.
I mean, the Hounds, at every given opportunity to step up and play against the SPL so far this year, have been that team. They are those guys. They have had those opportunities to line up and stack their talent against some of the strongest that the world has to offer. But when you talk about the Hounds, we've talked ad nauseum about guys like Dude Man, bro. We've talked to the moon about Oathhh and how it feels like he might be that next one up into the jungle to the SPL. I want to talk about the guy on your screen right now. ErupTCrimson has been a very, very consistent tool for this team. He is always landing those skill shots. If there's CC, he's there for it. Plays incredibly safe during the laning phase. It reminds me a lot of some of those more classical mid laners. When we talk about, you know, the big name mids nowadays, Pagon comes to mind with his explosive play style, or Paul when he's on a heater. But they're the unsung heroes of the past that were just, I'm going to come into the game day, I'm going to let you know when someone crosses my lane, I'm going to hit my skill shots when CC connects, and I will not be dying unless they are concentrating a 5-man dive on me. Guys like MLC Stealth really facilitated that style, really embodied that style. I think ErupTCrimson is essentially just the spiritual successor.
And it's been fun to watch, right? Crimson, very wide god pool, and for a while there, at least in Phase 3, was just absolutely rocking the world with a KDA. Very safe player, but very, very effective player. I think the way that you describe it. Also, it feels right to only mention Oathhh as like a footnote, because like he had a whole ass set yesterday where he was like the only thing to talk about. Just good players all around here on the Hounds. They're going to be taking on the Wardens, though, Mifflin. And, we mentioned it having to come into this. They had Susano when they qualified. Don't have Susano anymore since he got pulled up. And so you had to make a change in the jungle. Everybody else has stayed the same. And so you're maybe relying on some of the other veteran nature of this team, right? Griff has been around for a while. Geno's been around for a while. But when you're really looking at this team to have a pillar, you have to look at the opposite of Crimson and go towards moswal, someone who has done everything that maybe you would want to and is on his way to try and do it again.
Yeah, moswal, I think another one of those incredibly strong mid laners. He falls in line more so with the eclectic style of play. Hey, I'm going to play Zeus, I'm going to play Oathhh, and I'm going to do it really well, so you're going to let me do it anyway. I don't care what your composition requires. I'm going to be doing me, and I'm going to be doing it the best that I can. Merlin falls within that pool as well as one of his consistent favorites to fall back towards. Loves getting aggressive. You'll not see a Merlin flicker forward more than when moswal is playing it. He just really, really does find those opportunities to do essentially whatever he wants on map. We've seen some teams really emphasize just trying to jump on him, really try and limit what moswal is capable of doing, but because he's flanked by so much talent, the Lukashin brothers, incredibly talented, RelentlessOne and Geno, out of support and solo, once they're given some space, will really start to run it down in the dive. Schlemy has impressed me, slotting into the jungle, and that's not easy to do considering who he's had to replace. Oggryph has been very consistent, similar to Crimson in that regard. I think Oggryph and Crimson very similar in methodology and how they want to approach the game. But this is a team that can bring the fight to the Eldritch Hounds, but it would be an upset. The Kaolin Wardens just have not had that same level of consistent success that the Hounds have had all year.
And it's honestly interesting because when coming into this year, I remember, especially with Susano, when Susano was on the squad, we're just like, okay, there's no way that this Hounds team is ever going to be losing. And then, coming into this tournament, 4th seed, definitely hit a little more snags in the road than maybe they were expecting, especially with a change in jungler. Still able to win their set yesterday, though, and make it here to what is essentially like the winners' finals of this portion, this group of the bracket. And we'll see if they can kind of keep that up. Picks and bans for game number 1. Wardens will be first pick. And so it's going to be up to the Hounds to maybe try and balance some of those things out. I was wondering what was going to be the very first ban. It's been kind of bouncing all over the place, I feel like, over the last couple of days. Not like one true meta, so to speak. But Thor's been really good. He was good 2 weeks ago in the Phase 3 playoffs. He was good last week in the EU.
Yep.
And now he's been really good here in North America. Feels like it's just a very easy, hey, I don't want to deal with that guy, Dan.
Yeah, just consistent initiation, the ability to jump into that back line is so powerful. His mid-game, really, really strong. Once you're able to put some points into the hammer, all of a sudden you have non-committal poke that's doing upwards of 50% of people's HP bars.
That's a lot of damage.
The wall to lock down entire avenues of escape. Thor is a good pick. Straight up. It's not a flavor pick. It's not, hey, this guy's good at Thor, so he's going to lock it in. Thor is good, and I think if you want to be a good jungler in current meta, you have to have a Thor, and people are starting to take notice.
And so far, it's been absolutely rocking the scene. We've seen it a lot in the jungle. And for good reason, it gets banned. Yamoja, Daji banned out by the Wardens alongside that. Other side, the Guan Yu, the Athena, and the Kamazats is what's going to join that. Ishtar, first pick. And considering how popular Ishtar has been, it kind of makes more sense. Vulcan, Cernunnos answered back. And then the Ymir lock-in, presumably for the duo lane balance with the Ishtar. How do you feel about the Vulcan this far up? I mean, we've seen him kind of highly prioritized, but it feels like mid lately has just kind of been thrown the dregs. Like, nobody cares about him. Maybe they get top 3'd, but they're not, like, as high priority.
Yeah, well, I think it's because there are more mid laners that are viable now.
Yeah.
Because mids across the board are better. Vulcan hasn't seen any nerfs since when he was that #1 pick consistently in the SPL. It's just that with the itemization changes, with the buffs to literally every mage item in the game, a couple more mages become viable, which means you don't need to prioritize your selections nearly as highly. But Vulcan still is really strong. Backfire still ignores cripples. Earthshaker still completely ignores defense, it feels like, because of how much damage it actually does. It still is one of the best confirmations on map. Turret really good at early objectives as well, thanks to that burn potential. Vulcan is a strong pick. It's just that he's not so much stronger than that next best that he once was, right? It used to be, what was it, Vulcan, the Morrigan, everybody else like 50 tiers down. Now it's a little bit more of a clean curve.
Makes it a lot easier to do, I guess, like the Wardens have done here, where moswal's not necessarily sweating over it. Honestly, both of the highlight reels had Merlin in it. I'm kind of surprised maybe that didn't get, as I guess, compared to a Vulcan. He's still on that list. Like you said, it's close. Maybe not as close. There it is, finally locked in, though. Going over towards moswal. You had mentioned it being one of his favorite picks. The bans that come through, Lancelot, Nike, the Naja, and the Awilich, banned out by the Wardens, the first two banned out by the Hounds. Maui locked in alongside the tier as a front line. It's a lot of setup.
It is. I mean,
like
you nailed
frightening.
it. It's a lot, and they've got a little bit more now with the Susano locked in as well. It is ranged initiation. Tier can act as that dedicated frontliner. If Maui wants to hang out a little bit closer to the back line, throw out the hook, pull you in, or throw out the landfall, pull you in that way, you need someone that can step up and create that space.
Yeah.
Tier's your guy. He's going to be able to get it done. So I love what the Hounds have lined up for themselves. They've got a phenomenal follow-up on CC. They've got plenty of CC to keep you there once one connects, be it Fearless, the pull-in from Maui, or a pull-in from Susano, or a Typhoon from Susano. Yeah. This is a game that's going to dictate some beats and some Magi's, I'm thinking, from the Wardens.
Well, the Wardens, again, coming in as your 4th seed. They're going to be looking for an upset here over the Hounds. Let's find out if they can do it in game number 1.
That's right. One of these two teams is going to promote to the second half of the weekend. The other one is going to have to do one more set to see if they can make it to the elimination stage. It's J-Mac, Trelly, and Doug here for game number 1 between the Kaolin Wardens and the Eldritch Hounds, your number 1 undefeated team in the Hounds. And Geno, you're walking pretty close to maybe not the area that you want to invade. I know that you want to make something risky there, Geno, but I don't think going for a red buff is the call.
I know we just watched picks and bans, but whenever I see the Hounds draft, I always question, like, what got banned, you know? Like, Oathhh still gets Susano, Crim still gets Vulcan. I mean, Dude Member on the Cernunnos isn't the biggest deal in the world, but there's going to be a lot of damage coming through here on the Geno. Has to shell early, getting hit by the Glaive autos. There's the root, pull back in. Stun. It's going to take a bit.
Oh, he's got to go down. He's got to go down. Somebody's got to punish him for it. One more. No.
Unlucky.
He gets away.
I want to see it too.
Shell was the only reason that he stays alive there. Popped it early in the engagement, but still not quite enough to take down the Ymir. Geno gets to walk away, or maybe swing just a little shy from Quig. Doesn't get the full distance out that time around. But Geno is going to have to burn a few extra of those health pots to get back up to full.
Yeah, trying to get real aggressive over in that lane is the call, whereas Oathhh going to get some good poke onto moswal. Schlemy on the Pele, I think, can match some of that pressure that Susano is able to bring, but it's all deciding on where you put that pressure in mid lane. Could be the call. Seems like Ducky does have Blink and maybe tries to find the solo kill on RelentlessOne, but the beads also available for this Ama. Max the auto attacks, but not quite enough to connect that blue stance Fearless for the kill onto RelentlessOne. So beats down for Ama, that's a big deal. So does open up some opportunity. Ducky finds it!
First blood!
And the tower shot doesn't come back in. RelentlessOne caught napping on that one. I think we all were expecting that to come through.
Oh, maybe a second kill onto Geno. No, not quite enough. Lob shots are doing a lot to Dude Man Bro, but Griff has also eaten quite a bit from the minions. Quig just off the mark again with that solar swing. Does not connect onto Griff. Oathhh versus Schlemy in the jungle. Oathhh thinks twice about making that committed fight. So he'll back away. So it's sustained from Schlemy from his passive. We'll make sure to keep him going. But Oathhh hasn't given up. In fact, he's got backup in Ducky. No blink available, but Fearless through 1-2 again. Give another one to Ducky. That's 2 for the Hounds.
Wow, we're just giving Ducky all the free farm in the world on this tier. Didn't start the teleport, has the blink obviously, so can't back up. But going for the solo invade, there's no Pele here, you might as well. RelentlessOne does have the better confirm, but did not time it closely enough. You can still pop that shield when you're in the air like that, but not enough damage. And Ducky's gonna steal away the blue buff after getting 2 kills.
That's rough.
I'm pretty tilted if I'm RelentlessOne.
Yeah, that's not a great start for the Kaolin Wardens solo side of the map to have Ducky 2-0 up this early in the game. A blue buff invade's gonna make it so much harder for this Amaterasu. And once Ducky hits 5, I imagine the gas pedal will just be slammed a little bit harder. for the right side of the map. Eldritch Hounds come out swinging. Remember, your #1 seed, undefeated throughout the entire regular season of play.
Oh, man.
You might be seeing the repeat. Lawbringer in, slows down Relentless. Shove him against the wall. Oathh puts the jet stream on, and it's a 3rd kill on the board. This one goes to Oathh, but it's all on the right side.
Yeah. Remember how I said I'd be tilted if I was RelentlessOne? Like, I'd still be tilted at this point. You got to stay back.
What's our angle of tilt right now? Where are you sitting right now, Trelly?
I mean, I'm getting close to being is most tilt like a straight line?
I think it's parallel to the ground.
Yeah,
as your most
180
tilt.
degrees would be the most tilted. I'm like at a solid 95. It could be worse, but it's still, for this early, 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in, I'm pretty tilted. Just because of the fact that probably should be staying underneath the tower at this point, but walking up to clear the wave, assuming Oathh hasn't stuck around, is the call. Schlemy, though, looking towards the left side of the map. No relic available for Quig, but Dude Man Bro does have the beads. More specifically, Schlemy does not have that ultimate. Still sitting level 4. Will a gank come through? Doesn't look like a force is going to be the play. And Schlemy wasted a little bit of time sticking around. The Eldritch Hounds, they're going to be just fine.
And while Schlemy was sticking to the left side, Oathh was able to hit level 5. Poke towards Crimson. Knockup is good, but Schlemy just doesn't have the full damage to take down this Vulcan. Maybe with some help from moswal to try and find something, but in the 1v2, it's actually going the way of the mid camp for Crim. Dude Man able to teleport out, pull just on the mark for moswal, but a chase in with a jet stream might end up being the death of Oathh. He took an extra shot through him. Schlemy has hit 5 and it's turn and burn onto the 2v1. One more hit from either of them. Who's gonna get it? They both end up walking out of the fight. But Schlemy on the board now for the Kaolin Wardens to try and attempt to slow down the Hounds' pacing.
Wow, Crimson, I thought the turret was about to drop and guarantee that kill, and then I thought maybe Schlemy's going to dive that tower for the kill. Looks like neither one decided to go for it, but Oathh being shut down is going to be a nice start to a possible kill streak he could have gotten. Close to that 3-0, but going to die 2-1, not the biggest deal. Also, you still got to worry about Ducky. Like, despite the fact that Oathh is dead, there's still another 2-0 member of the Hounds, and it's that tier. Does Schlemy have an opportunity to gank a tier? Not really. Looks like underneath the tower, it's going to be Ducky. And so like I said, Ducky's going to get himself shut down. RelentlessOne obviously not tilted. Is going to be handed a free kill. And that's everything I expected, of course.
Interesting decision by Ducky. And that's about all I have to say. Maybe, oh, nope. Oath's not going to be able to capitalize off that one. So, yeah, RelentlessOne just gets a nice shutdown bounty on the Ducky. That brings the Kaolin Wardens slightly back in this game. Now only sitting about 800, 900 gold down, 1,500 XP.
That revenge
Still the way of the Eldritch Hounds, but more importantly, you put it perfect. Getting that revenge on Ducky. Said, you can only solo me once before I get something back.
No one solos RelentlessOne twice in one game.
That's why it's a RelentlessOne. Everyone gets one.
Yep, everyone gets one. Ducky will not be allowed that kill. Full Glide Shield online, though. This tier is still going to be a threat once those rotations come out towards people like moswal. You know, that this Merlin that has no sort of defense online. They're going to feel the damage this tier is able to output. Sitting level 7, level 9 for Crimson. It's 6 minutes in. This Vulcan farming the map so effectively and so quickly. And now it looks like Schlemy might be getting ambushed here from Oathh and Ducky. Blink not going to be the call. It's the Lawbringer in.
Schlemy keeps the fight going, but the fight is all downhill there. Moswal does get the burn onto Oathh, and that's going to get a turnaround kill for the Wardens. Ducky now in a 2v1, maybe even 3. Lawbringer in, misses the second one too. Ducky now walled off, burned down yet again. Geno credit to the kill, but that was all about the juke boots from Moswal to keep Ducky down.
Ducky missed every single ability there. It wasn't even beautiful pullback in. Goodbye, Griff.
Okay.
Quig Goomba stomped him with the swing.
He's taunting him too.
Oh, he is. I can hear it. That's
like
all I can hear.
That's all that we can hear right now. We heard the bass drop of the land being yanked up, and then just the laughter of Maui from Quig. 6-4 now are the kills. Eldritch Hounds still in the lead. Again, though, only about 800-900 gold. Now keeping Geno away from this purple buff. They can get this purple buff stolen away, put Griff even further behind, but pull onto Geno. Wall cuts it off. Not enough damage. Stun Geno before he can get the carpet through. Yanked back in and extending this team fight because now his teammate has returned. Griff is back from the grave. to try and get his revenge and try and secure his purple buff, which he'll do so.
Yeah, the DPS was just not quick enough. I think Quig did a decent job of just using every single CC ability to keep that Ymir away, but NotGeno knew how to save his abilities for that purple buff to make sure he could stall that one out. 4-6, the Hounds are up about 1.2k gold, but still, the Wardens have been able to fight back. They found some decent answers throughout. And I think the duo lane is sitting just fine for now, considering the fact that, you know, Gryph was getting bullied a bit, down 0-1 and lost the beads. Still sitting top of the damage charts. The Ishtar is definitely still a threat in that lane. If Dude Man Bro can't hold on to those beads, I imagine a fight could still break out over on left.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing over the course of the EU SCC championships and so far in these first couple days of the NA side of it, Ishtar has just been that priority pick, has always been getting the better hand of some of the opposition, really topping out the damage chart so much in her kit. That can allow for it to happen. Freeze! Ooh. A little off the mark there by Geno, so Dude Man won't have to use his beads to get away from this fight. And now, more aggression against RelentlessOne's side of the map. Blue buff will likely be stolen away unless Schlemy has something to say about it. And he doesn't have much to say as that one gets dropped and it goes around Ducky's waist.
Yeah, he had a pyro last to say, but no one heard it, unfortunately. Not able to confirm that one. Moswal's beads come up in about 10 seconds. I'm trying to see where else the aggression could go for. RelentlessOne is not going to be getting soloed by that damage. So the blink down from Ducky. Bit wasted, but hey, you got some lane pressure and also you sent the Amma back, which is smart. Losing a wave to that tower is going to be the call. Whereas Crimson's able to go to level 12 at this point. Still power farming on the Vulcan, which is something you'd expect, of course. I mean, just dropping turret, you know, using backfire, running away, and letting the turret finish off means you can farm the map so effectively, but I'm just taking a look at the damage numbers that are going to be able to come out from this Vulcan. Like, those Earthshakers are going to be swinging, and now the Pyromancer is being swung on. Good Mystical Alua to get Crim in close. Nice. To help out with that Pyromancer. All the while, Gryph is getting 1v1 by Dude Man Bro, but here comes Geno to help out.
Well, slow is good. Mez as well, and Dude Man will go down. He'll just box for as long as he can. Does not get the turnaround kill, so Geno, credit for the kill, setting that one up for his ADC. But it did allow Pyromancer to go for the Eldritch Hounds, and that's going to put them up 2,000 gold for the Greater Scorpion invade. Add a little bit extra to the pockets of the Hounds, but now knowing that the Hounds are on the right side of the map, the Wardens have pulled the Gold Fury. Can the Hounds get there in time? It's only Quig on this Maui, but there is too much objective burn from this. From moswal on this Merlin, from Gryph on this Ishtar, just shredding through the health bar of the objective. And it'll end up being a Gold Fury to the Kaolin Wardens.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of this double carry style composition. I think the Eldritch Hounds also have that same amount of burn, but if you don't have good vision on the objectives like that, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, all it really takes to lose that Fury. Oathhh is chasing down Schlemy blink for blink. Not going to be able to catch that one out. So should be just fine over the left side of the map, whereas Ducky, once again, trying to go for that blue buff invade. There's really nothing else for him to do. There's no fighting on the right side with that Pyro gone. Let's see if Blue Fearless confirm it. It should be able to. Yeah, strongest confirmation there. So much burst damage for its tier. I mean, the red stance Fearless does a lot, but it's so many different ticks, whereas blue stance is just instant damage. Amma, without the shield, really can't try to match that amount of burst for the blue buff.
Ducky's just... I'm surprised. Is Ducky top of the damage chart now? I know that we had Gryph at the top.
Pretty sure it was Gryph still.
It was Gryph. I imagine it might even still be Gryph for how much fighting has been happening between him and Dude Man Bro. Oh, wow. That was max range caught moswal. Won't do too much, but not often we get to see the full range of the hook pull from a Maui. It's typically kind of that mid to close range, so long enough so that you can just hold on to him. This red buff stolen away by Quig and Crim. They expended the Vulcan ult to do so. Dude Man Bro can't catch a break. It is just every moment that he thinks he is safe, Geno is there to prove that he isn't. But even despite all of that, Charlie, despite the, what's it sound like, 4th time that we have seen Geno come to this lane, Dude Man Bro is still, at worst, like a half level behind.
Yeah, I think he needs to invest in some wards. He's warded up top on purple, but every time Geno has went from behind Gold Fury, or I guess in this case, about to be Primal Fury, behind the pit and just wrapped around, avoiding all sort of ward vision. RelentlessOne. Typhoon will confirm. And it misses!
No.
RelentlessOne is able to run away for the time being. It looks like a possible blink from Ducky, but no. The Amaterasu is going to live. Some hot steps. Great dash by RelentlessOne. Juked right next to the Typhoon, but did not get clipped.
It's like a scene from a movie where he's just going for like the slow-mo dash out, and you got the tornado following him the whole way through, but he's able to outpace it. moswal once again hooked. Will be jumped down by the swing. Actually just going to cut off the path this time. moswal turning for the fight back, but he's now used his entire kit to try and fight through, and that sets up for Dude Man Bro to get the returning kill, get himself with his first kill of the game now. And RelentlessOne begging Schlemy, saying, dude, I just need a blue buff. Please come over here one time and help me out. He does so, and that allows RelentlessOne to get a little bit of farm towards his name now.
Quig trying to go for this tower, not going to be able to grab it. Actually stuns Schlemy, and the ult hits, not enough damage. And the landfall also a bit off the mark, but NotGeno is sticking around. I was going to say, there's no follow-up here, so sticking around just for the sake of it, trying to keep the Eldritch Hounds in mid lane is going to be that call. Primal Fury and Pyromancer should be spawning in here shortly. With map state, you would assume the Eldritch Hounds should have some vision down for an objective like that, but using that Shards of Ice, Oathhh, right when the tower goes down, was trying to go for this kill on NotGeno, blinks in, goes Schlemy.
Needs one more shot, though, and it will not do it. It's another dropped kill there by the Hound. Schlemy able to get one, and RelentlessOne shows up, and it could be a turn and burn instantly. A 2-kill swing for the Kaolin Wardens. The beads gone from Crim, maybe not.
Wow.
Those beads in the Aegis were just enough to keep him out. Quig will show up, he'll swing in. Crimson does drop, but it should at least be a 1 return back. One more hit from somebody. It's got to be Ducky to take down his lane partner.
That was a long chase to get that confirmed kill. The Sunder shots coming through to make sure that Crimson went down. That's going to be big. Schlemy also goes massive there, finding that kill onto Oathhh, gets the relics down. I was curious if the peel from ErupTCrimson was going to be enough to get that Susano out, and it was not. So that's going to be the end of that. As Ducky just chases into the jungle. That's what I was talking about. So much damage coming from this tier. The Glad Shield, the Manticore spikes. Ducky does have Blink. I'm assuming he's going to want to chase this one down, and that should be a guaranteed kill.
Wow.
Onto Schlemy. Just did not respect the tier. And yeah, feeds were up, if you were curious.
It's the most terrifying thing running at you. It's got the dino tier with the head flopping around. Don't know which way he's looking, don't know which way he's gonna go, and hey, blinks your backline, kills your jungler. That's level 16 now for Ducky on this tier. He is, I can't really say he's kind of been left alone to do his own, but like, nobody's really come over here to try and shut down Ducky. At the very least, I think we saw one rotation from Schlemy. And then we saw Ducky die like one time to the tower because I guess he was bored and just wanted to fight under tier 1 at like level 7. But other than that, Ducky has essentially gone unchecked on the right side of the map.
It's just a terrible matchup for Schlemy. I mean, anytime Pele gets close, it's like, okay, I'm going to knock tier up. And tier says, you know, I've got 2 abilities that do not care about getting knocked up. Like, I will fearless you every single time. And then Pele really doesn't have that much damage. Geno is not going to get pulled back in. Looked like Quig wanted to get aggressive, decided against it, but now Geno, the one who wants to step up here, takes a good bit of damage from ErupTCrimson. This Vulcan, as that Soul Gem has Divine Ruin and the fully stacked Book of Thoth, is swinging onto all targets for the time being, but looks like Gold Fury, Primal Fury, to be exact, is being pulled by the Hounds, and it's getting melted. There are no Wardens to be seen. That's going to go down for absolute free.
And last time around, it was the Wardens who capitalized off the play from Pyromancer and was able to grab that. So they had time, or they knew it was up, but weren't aware there was somebody there. Ducky, the one-man army, is going to try and stop this Pyromancer from going to the Wardens. Landfall hits 2. It does yank Relentless back. The Hounds get the Pyromancer and maybe a little bit more with it. moswal pushed by Ducky. Oathhh dashes in. Typhoon lands onto the mid laner, but doesn't find the knock-up in the wall. From Geno will close off the path so that no more of his teammates will die during this fight. It's a, oh wait, no, Ducky has Blink. Is he gonna stop, okay, I thought maybe he's gonna stop somebody's back, but it doesn't seem like he's willing to dive to stop Geno from backing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Dude Man Bro does lose the beads, and both ultimates were traded there from Griff and Dude Man Bro as well, as the tier 1 and right goes down. But you can see Oathhh on the way over to left, maybe thinking, hey, I got a chance to invade this purple buff, but I'm going to wait and see if Griff will walk up. But Schlemy is the one that Oathh's going to find. Actually, he doesn't care about Schlemy. He wants the Ishtar. He's taking a lot of damage.
Good turnaround by Griffin Schlemy. Dude man should go down next. He'll dash out, but no follow-up from the Wardens. They have used all their movement to get into the fight. Nothing left in the tank for the chase. Quig, I don't think you want to pull moswal, who is literally throwing fire at you, closer.
Well, he was trying to like
So he'll, was he trying
extinguish the flames.
well, the puddle was already like
It was just a puddle. It needed to be. It needed to be a pool of
you
sorts.
need the fire extinguisher for that, man.
Yeah, there was a
Or an
lot
ocean.
of fire coming through as Dude Man Bro goes down and loses both relics on the left side of the map. Ducky, however, is looking for Moswal. Lawbringer's in, despite the fact that NotGeno is here and is still doing tons of damage. Doesn't quite have the full kit to be able to get that solo kill out. But that was a great wall from Geno. Moswal loves to hold on to those beats and was able to hold on to both relics in that situation. So that wall didn't connect. There was enough cooldown reset to where Ducky might have been able to go for one more Fearless combo, and that could have put threat towards a relic for the Merlin. But again, great support, great peel. And Moswal is going to be able to hold on to the beats and the Aegis that time around.
And Geno having a pretty good performance on this Ymir. We always talk about the feast or famine Ymir, the 0-5 or like the typically like the 0-1 kind of games. This time it's a little bit of a flip. Geno 2-0-1 on the Ymir. A couple of kills have gone his way so far this game, but he's done a great job staying alive and most importantly, keeping his team alive during a lot of these engagements, whether it be a wall to cut off a path or a wall to keep the enemy from being able to escape and set up for a kill for the remainder of the team. Been impressed by what Geno's been able to do so far in the Ymir in Game 1.
I'm a little surprised that we're seeing double Sunder. I love Sunder. I think was one of the most slept on relics at the beginning of this season, and then teams started realizing how strong it really was. But two of them, I mean, RelentlessOne doesn't have that much gap close. There's no blink for either one of these teams, so you're essentially hoping that, you know, NotGeno can find a wall, set up for a good freeze, and then the rest of the team can follow up, or the Dazzling Offensive just dashes in, and then RelentlessOne's able to get out with his own life after that play. It does mean the tanks will be a lot less tanky, and that actually helps out. Ducky and Quig, if they get caught out in the back line, could be in a bit of trouble, but it seems like oGryph is the next one on the chopping block if Quig wants to commit to this. Only the beads are available, and the ult is down. Where's the rest of the team?
oGryph, swing in by Quig. oGryph loses the beats, dashes right into the tower, and Oathhh will take him down. Schlemy cannot catch a break in the back line. And the Eldritch Hounds have found 2 picks, but they do lose Dude Man Bro during all of that. It's a 2-for-1 trade, but a tier 1 tower to boot. The Eldritch Hounds with a near 6,000 gold lead now after that tower goes down. This is getting tough for the Kaolin Wardens to fight back, but so far they've shown that they are still willing to take these fights.
Yeah, I saw Ducky on the rotation over. Thought maybe would try to go for a blink play over the wall or a Lawbringer, but recognized, hey, we're probably not getting tier 2 anytime soon. Moswal just has too good of lane clear. There's just no way that play is ever going to come through. Once again, though, we are at the dawn of Pyromancer and Gold Fury spawning back in, which usually means some more aggression to be had from, in this case, the Hounds. And the first gold was the Wardens doing, but as long as the Hounds have some good vision towards both sides of the map, should be all right to go for a play towards these objectives. But as of now, it is the Wardens who have vision on the Fury. The Hounds are near the Fury. They're towards Pyro, and actually Griff is heading back left, but Dude Man Bro still in mid lane. I was going to say maybe posturing over towards that Fire Giant, but it looks like purple buff, enhanced purple buff, is a little bit too much. And Dude Man Bro wants to grab that one before making a rotation over towards an objective.
Ducky is level 20 now on this tier. Just needs a moment to go back to base with some of his gold in hand maybe to upgrade that starter item, and he'll be a full build. But starting towards the Fire Giant are the Eldritch Hounds. They won't start it up. They'll walk by with Oathhh and Quig. Still need their Hunter there if they want to take that one down, so it might be a while before we see a fire pull. Said it was Gold Fury for the Eldritch Hounds. Pyromancer quick to follow. Double stun by Geno. Typhoon out of Oathhh, but the Landfall will drag in 2 before one goes down. Earthshaker does some good damage, but not going to find enough out of there. Moswal, 1 hit away, and it's going to be Ducky to dunk in. Aegis out for the mid laner, and finally, no, Ducky misses at least 1 shot, but he doesn't miss 2. And Schlemy shoved against the wall in the middle of 4 and dropped down. It is Oathhh for 2, and maybe now a Fire Giant for the Hounds, unless Relentless and Geno can get in.
Ducky trying to play zone duty here, but there's some low health bars on the side of the Hounds. Ama is going to dash in, trying to force out some damage onto ErupTCrimson. The Fire Giant may be able to do the rest, but Geno also on the wrap right here. Big freeze.
Finds a big one onto Quig. Crimson walks through the fire. Again, he's taking a lot of damage from the Fire Giant's damage itself. And Ducky now zoned away by Griff. Geno is bullying Quig in the back line, but Crimson turns around, gets the backfire that he needs. And this Fire Giant has finally been leashed by the Eldritch Hounds. They'll all step out of the pit and go for a full reset. There's still 3 players down for another 10 plus seconds on 2 of them and 30 for Geno. Could see the Eldritch Hounds make a full regrouping by the fire.
Certainly could. Dazzling Offensive is available though, and RelentlessOne has stuck around. Does mean the RelentlessOne has not retreated though. Hasn't went back to base and healed up. Is gonna have to sustain a bit just by nature of Ama heal and some of these mids. And it looks like that is gonna be the call. Heading towards the Fire Giant, Quig's gonna make the pull, and Earthshaker is available. So trying to use some of these ultimates on a Crim would be the idea, but just going for a blue biff right now, the Wardens, they don't realize how low this Fire Giant's getting. Well, this one finally dashes in, but it's too little too late.
Ducky's already shoved him out of the way. Two-Man Bro does find the root with the Bramble Blast. RelentlessOne trying to run as fast as he can, but he doesn't get far enough. Two-Man Bro puts him down. Griff has to ult the landfall just so he doesn't get yanked back. His beads is still available, but Aegis down for 60 seconds. The Eldritch Hounds get fire on 4. Oathhh trading out his life once again. I believe Schlemy was able to find the pick there in the back line. But now up 16 to 12 and nearly 8,000 gold for the Hounds with 3 towers still left to take. Kaolin Wardens might have to go on defense. And for a team like this one, Cheryl, I mean, you have a Merlin on your team. You got some decent range to at least maybe block there. I mean, how does it look for the Kaolin Wardens on these Phoenix defenses?
Will be pretty nice considering the fact that moswals have been able to hold on to, you know, the beads and the Aegis will be back up, but it all depends on how clean Oathhh is playing the Susano. So far, I think has overstepped a bit, went for the 1v2. I assume thought it was a 1v1 versus moswal. Almost killed the Merlin, and then Pele comes in and Schlemy was able to claim that one. If the Susano can actually live through these engagements and not die just at the beginning, it's going to be extremely difficult for the Wardens to survive. But if you're just peeling for moswal and letting all that lane gear come through, as the beads go down from Griff and Earthshaker a little bit off the mark, Ishtar going to be without beads for another 160 seconds or so. It's going to be pretty difficult just by the nature of how many big burst abilities the Hounds have. But again, Earthshaker down, and the fact that there's not too many ultimates that the Eldritch Hounds want to use underneath that Phoenix besides Earthshaker. Probably best to back up, clear out some of these waves, and get the last tier 2 towers before they start that siege.
Especially with the minion waves pushed up towards everywhere on the side of the Kaolin Wardens end of the map. So there's a wave very close to that tier 2 towers. The Hounds will rotate over right, clear off the last structure. Geno pulled by the hook, but throws up a wall. He's got the path. That's not going to stop Oathhh, who blinks past it, gets the pull. Typhoon is enough damage, and Ducky goes to the back line to bully Griff, but Oathhh is once again stepped too far. Schlemy gets yanked back, and Landfall finds 1, but moswal returns it instantly. That's 2 down for the Eldritch Hounds, but 2 down for the Kaolin Wardens. Quig is getting shredded by the damage out of Griff. This Ishtar is keeping the Kaolin Wardens alive, and so is moswal. He flickers in, and that might just be the end of the fight. With the hook off the mark by Quig, the Eldritch Hounds support too low to keep this one going.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be backing up if I was Crimson either. The way he's playing, he was able to hit pretty much all of the poke and threaten out the rest of the Wardens. You got 8 seconds left on Geno. If you are going for this Phoenix, it's this wave or you're done. Looks like a decent dash in. RelentlessOne also sieges, but this Phoenix is not going down fast enough. Two-Man Bro forced to Aegis. 2 more autos will do it, but no one can get in.
No, Crimson and Two-Man are both low. Griff dashes in, but now he's in turret range. Earthshaker to zone away and maybe keep them both alive. RelentlessOne doesn't get the ultimate he was looking for, and backfire will keep Crim out there. But Quig does die at the end of the day, so it's a turnaround there for the Kaolin Wardens. 3 for 2 does end up going in their favor, and they get to hold on to their Phoenix to win for the Kaolin Wardens in that regard, considering they were fighting into a 4-strong Fire Giant coming into these.
Yeah, definitely happy with that one. Being able to keep your Phoenix alive by a hair. I mean, still sitting at so low HP at the moment. But all tier 2 towers go down. The Eldritch Hounds had a ton of gold to spend up after that play. Full-on Soul Reaver purchase there for ErupTCrimson. Didn't have that. During the last engagement, Bro was able to grab Death's Temper, so full build for the ADC. And Oathhh is getting closer to finishing that Titan's Bane, gets to tier 2. Primal Fury started up, no one from the Hounds is going to be nearby. So it looks like that should go the way of the Wardens for relative free. I imagine trying to stall this one out though until Bro gets his relics back could be the best call. I was gonna say, wait a second, they actually stalled it out. And Oathhh just walks up, typhoons the Primal Fury. That was interesting. Now, ErupTCrimson getting chased down, has to beads early, but that burn, that'll do it. moswal able to find that kill.
That's Aegis and Shell though. Shell now gone from Geno, and that was a Phantom Shell. Now the Phantom Shell is gonna mean too much unless a landfall does end up blocking off a path for the Eldritch Hounds, but a pick on a Crimson means that the secure of the Fire Giant down for 40 seconds could dissuade the Eldritch Hounds from maybe going for this objective, though they do have quite a bit of burn, at least in the way of Bro. Oathhh even has some decent damage and a Typhoon for confirmation. Probably be the best call. RelentlessOne just kind of zooming around the back line. See what he can find, but it's just Ducky and Quig there. D-warding goes the way of the Kaolin Wardens. And Oathhh wants to find a pick, but every time Oathhh has gone in by himself, he's ended up getting one, but then losing one in trade. Oathhh gets away from Schlemy, able to get away from the knockback, but Schlemy goes into the back line. Oathhh versus Schlemy goes the way of Bro, who has joined into the fray. And now the Eldritch Hounds, who are fighting a man down in this fight, needs a double stun
wall
from Griff. Geno has cut off everything, but Oathhh finds a pull onto one. Ducky should go down. It'll be Griff to put him in the dirt.
Yeah, Horrific Emblem down, trying to pick Geno, and it looks like that will be the case. Quig and Bro
Crim
slowly backing up, but you're right, Crimson has joined back into this fight. Pay attention to that Vulcan burst.
Oh, moswal, though, returning a lot of fire. Flickers past the damage through. moswal finds the 1v1 up against Crimson, but it's the 3v1 that goes to the Eldritch Hound. moswal, the lone survivor of the Kaolin Wardens onslaught. The bloodbath that started with the initiation by the Wardens has gone south. This is a 4-for-2 trade at the end. And Quig and Duneman are going to be the only ones here to fight against this Fire Giant. Little bit of crit in the kit for Duneman. This might just be enough to take Fire Giant down.
Yeah, it certainly should. You want to hear something interesting? That's the
Lay it on.
second death Crimson has had where he had Aegis up and just let moswal kill him. I mean, that's twice in a row now.
Unfortunate.
I thought last time, you know, he was just trying to save it, but this time around, very surprised that he didn't just use Aegis. His whole team was there, and then you get EFG on your mid laner. I guess that was an ego play, though. He's like, if I Aegis in this 1v1 where it started off, moswal was half HP, then I just lose Aegis. But it's better than losing your life and no EFG. Either way, the Eldritch Hounds come out on top in that engagement. EFG on 4. And now it's time for the Phoenixes to be looked at once again. Left side Bird, usually the target for the Eldritch Hounds. There are some relics down as well. I mean, Schlemy's going to have nothing for about 30 seconds and beads on a minute timer. And Griff is going to have nothing for another minute, 70 seconds or so. But it doesn't look like the Helge is looking much better. Bro looking about 90 seconds or so on those relics. So I'm not surprised here if the Hounds decide to play this one slow. Make sure all the waves are pushed up. See if you can catch someone out, stepping too far away from the Phoenix. And especially looking towards Ducky. He's been a consistent engage here for the Hounds on this tier. Blink in, find some beads, Lawbringer. Get a big AoE slow as well. Like I said, still 30 seconds on the beads and another 30 on the Aegis. Bro does not want to step up too far.
Quig by himself on the left side of the map. Oathhh takes the Phoenix to half by himself. Ducky to the back line for RelentlessOne and Schlemy. Triple freeze out of Geno. Where is the follow-up? It's there from moswal. It's there from Griff. The instant turnaround by the Kaolin Wardens, and now Quig is on the run. Landfall will yank back Schlemy, but that's not going to be enough. Quig will throw down the Eluid for the extra movement speed. How far will he go? He'll swing over the wall, but this has got to be a catch-out for the Wardens. The slow is there, and so is the Ice Bolt. The turnaround by the Wardens on the mid-Phoenix is insane.
Yeah, the combo between Griff and Geno there, and then of course moswal flickering in, doing massive damage on this Merlin. It's insane. Being able to keep your birds alive is definitely the call, but Ducky and Oathhh still have some good damage here. moswal had to use both relics, and you got to imagine that they know They can get to these low health targets. Maybe the Ducky could make a play. Has the slipstream back to get away, and now Ducky going for the finish. But beautiful Aegis from Griff.
Beats and Aegis down, and a better wall from Geno. Ducky has got to Lawbringer out, but Schlemy has cut off the path. There is nowhere for the tier to go except the grayscale screen. The Kaolin Wardens, who are down 10,000 gold going into that Phoenix, have turned this one back around. Oathhh has been caught out, makes a 1-for-1 trade. But another kill from Oswald. Geno low, and so it's Relentless. They may just have to back away from this fight as the Eldritch Hounds save their Phoenix for a moment by finding the pick.
Yeah, with that chance, it's very difficult to push into Crimson there. Oathhh actually finds a trade versus Schlemy with very low HP. That just shows how much damage the Susano is doing. All things considered, a double down. The gold's still in favor of the Eldritch Hounds, but it starts meaning less and less as this game continues. Looks like some final builds coming through. Schlemy should be able to finish that Mantle of Discord here soon as the Oni Fury is being bounced back and forth. Landfall just to force away RelentlessOne and make sure no steal comes through. So the Hounds have some enhanced minions going into the next enhanced Fire Giant. That'll come out in about a minute 30 or so. But that's pretty much it. I mean, you would love if Geno was a bit tankier. You would love some upgraded relics for the whole side of the Wardens, and we're getting into 3K territory here for the Eldritch Hounds. But besides that, fights have been going the way of the Wardens underneath these birds. moswal needs to be stopped, and he's got a 3K pot in his inventory, so he's just going to be doing even more damage.
Haven't really seen a very impactful Earthshaker just yet out of Crimson. They've either been flickered away from by moswal or Aegis'd out by anybody who does get caught in there, whether that was moswal or Griff. Haven't really seen one kind of turn the tides of a fight just yet. Maybe we'll get to see something up against RelentlessOne. Backfire in by Crimson, but just to scare away the Kaolin Wardens. Fire Giant still about 45 seconds from spawning back in. So I imagine for the Hounds, just try and get up some of their ward coverage, make sure they have vision across the jungle and in the Fire Giant pit's got to be the name of the game.
Certainly does. I'm wondering, you know, we saw a simple group from the Eldritch Hounds. They wanted to try and go for a wraparound play there on RelentlessOne, but good vision. The Wardens painfully aware of everyone on the Hounds so far. I got to keep your eye on Oathhh, though, as well. His job at this point is to get to moswal. It's not like Griff isn't also popping off, but the cleanup kills have been coming through from this Merlin so consistently. So if the Susano can actually get to the back line and be that disastrous force that forces relics, could be a good idea. Griff's relics come up in 1 second. Now Aegis and beads are there, and the Wardens should be confident pushing up just a little bit harder. But pushing into a Vulcan is never easy. That turret is just enough so that Geno does not want to walk into it.
We'll walk forward, poke off the mark. Wall catches the backfire for Crimson. This will be a huge pick, taking out the mid laner early. Schlemy dives in, but Schlemy goes down. Crimson lives at the end of the day, but with only a tiny, tiny sliver of HP. What is Ducky doing by himself in the backline? Freeze gets stopped. So Geno cannot get that CC. Landfall pulls the Ymir back in. Oathhh has gone to the backline to find Griff, and the damage is good from the jungler. Crimson never went back to base, and it's a double kill now for Oathhh as Ducky has zoned moswal out of the fight. It is only Moz and RelentlessOne left alive.
Now, what's the play here from the Hounds? It looks like half want to push up mid, half want to push up right, and the other half are on Fire Giant. Don't check that math, but RelentlessOne has not left. He wants to try to defend this enhanced Fire Giant as well. And it looks like Ducky can only zone one. It's the Ama for the steal, and that's the only play. But they don't have to let Ama stick around.
Man, bro, taking a lot of damage from the Ama and the Fire Giant stuck in a pool. Earthshaker goes through. It's a little early, but RelentlessOne goes down at the end of the day. And the Eldritch Hounds get Fire Giant, Enhanced Fire on all 5. Health bars are low, but cooldown timer's a little bit longer. Still 17 seconds till the nearest one. It's Schlemy and moswal for the defense as the Hounds continue to push forward.
Yeah, some decent regen, but it is 5v2, and they don't need minions with that Enhanced Fire Giant. Someone has got to get to moswal if the end is the call, but it looks like just grab the Phoenix and immediately retreat. That's a smarter play here from the Hounds. They don't want to overextend, and they certainly don't want to lose this Enhanced Fire Giant again. Now it's time for the mid-bird to be looked at, but 4 members of the Wardens are here. This is not going to be easy to try and grab this bird. In fact, I'm calling for retreat if I'm the Hounds, and Ducky seems to agree.
Yeah, especially with that wall popping up from Geno. 6 seconds of essentially no play zone for that Ymir, especially when none of these hunters can have an auto attack go through a wall like Gryph could with a lob shot, or even something like a Rom to pierce through there. So the Eldritch Hounds make the smart call. They'll back away, allow for their ultimates to come back online, let some of their relics come back as well, as the carries are still missing Beach and Aegis for about another 30 to 40 seconds apiece for those. So the Kaolin Wardens on this next defense, I mean, everybody except for Geno, full build Eldritch Hounds. They've got one extra item on Quig, so sitting now at a dead even defense. We saw how the defense looked from behind earlier. I mean, a 10k deficit the last time the Wardens defended off the Eldritch Hounds at full strength. Is this full power for the Kaolin Wardens, all 5 there? Is that defense good enough to repel back the Hounds?
It's going to be scary because ErupTCrimson now has a 3k pod in his inventory. About to pop it once this Phoenix Siege begins. And more specifically, those fire minions pouring through the right side of the map that currently RelentlessOne is dealing with. Going to channel that back immediately. It looks like Schlemy also on the way. So 5v3 until they're able to make it over to left. But the Eldritch Hounds have time on their side. They can sit around here right at the start of the Phoenix and just wait until those fire minions pour in, force someone from the Wardens to go defend, and then you got a 5v4 situation. ErupTCrimson gets absolutely burned by moswal, and now this Siege is going to have to wait at least a little bit. I'm keeping my eye on Schlemy now, who can get to the back line and put some pressure onto this weak Vulcan. I would assume it's going to be Pele.
Well, the good news for Crimson is they can always Hail Mary the ultimate from max range and be plenty far away from the fight. Geno does eat a meatball backfire combo. That's a quarter of his HP removed by Crimson. This soul gem plus the fire giant regen is keeping him alive and getting him back up to that full HP. So that window of opportunity for Schlemy is getting narrower and narrower. The Kaolin Wardens on a 3-2 split for defense up against the Hounds. Ducky goes in to keep Schlemy pushed away from the fight. Ducky doesn't have the same damage he did at the beginning of the game. And Fire Minion still coming in from the right side of the map. That Phoenix should be respawning in about a minute or so. But the Eldritch Hounds are just going to keep up the pressure in mid, keep up the pressure in left. Oathhh, though, cannot close his gap in. The left side is going all Eldritch Hounds. Gryph yanked back in, but BTA just gone. Phoenix has not been dealt with. Somebody has got to do the last hit. Two-man probe caught in the middle. Age is not enough. Earthshaker not going to do it either. Bird falls down, but Gryph and Geno will go down with it. RelentlessOne dashes out. Oathhh finds the pick on a Schlemy. And that may just be game number 1. 40 minutes of back and forth battling. But the Eldritch Hounds have closed their way into the throne room. Only need to find a little bit more damage onto this Titan, but they are splitting their attention between moswal and the Titan. Somebody's just got to hit the dang Titan on the side of the Hounds, but instead it's the Wardens who are the ones hitting them back.
It looks like moswal is just doing too much damage. The Eldritch Hounds cannot ignore this Merlin any longer. Flickers in, and now Quig's going down. But look at Crimson, he's just on the Titan. They forgot about the Vulcan.
You can't forget about ErupTCrimson because he'll do just that. Didn't find any great Earthshakers this game, but who needs it when you can be the one to lone kill the Titan 41 minutes in, and the Eldritch Hounds are able to take game number 1.
Moswal absolutely pops off, though, on that Merlin. It was just a situation where everyone's like, okay, yeah, we can end. They're like, oh, wow, this guy kind of swings. Maybe we should kill the Merlin. And they went back and forth, and Crimson said, you guys chase him all you want. I got a turret. I'm going to sit here. Like, I just want to end this game. I don't want to mess with how much damage this Vulcan's putting out anymore. And luckily, had the damage to actually finish the job.
Moswal definitely keeping this game alive a lot longer than the Eldritch Hounds may have hoped for. We'll see if they can maybe make this one faster in game 2, or maybe the Kaolin Wardens can find a turnaround. All that and more right after this break.
Well, after a lengthy battle and some uncertainties in there, the Hounds are able to take game number 1. Mifflin with a 10,000 gold lead. I'm sure you have opinions on how long it took. But right now, what we know is that they did it. And of course, what I know is that we have something else going on this weekend in the event that you're hanging out. Look, you've got your 2 monitors up. At least that's how I like to have mine set up. You're looking for something to do on the mainstay while we're hanging out on the left. I've got good news for you. Tomorrow, there's actually a DKO community tournament that is going to be played. It's a 2v2 tournament that's going to be starting the 17th. It is Europe and North America, so both of them are going to be capable. So if you're watching in EU right now, you have the capabilities of playing, as well as North America, not having to worry about ping, going to be separate regions. 11,200 rune prize pool per region. Which puts it well over the 22,000 total rune prize pool. 3,200 runes there for first place. You can see everything for second and third. Scan the QR code and make sure that you jump in now. A 2v2 tournament. Really excited to see what's going on with DKO and excited to see maybe who can come out. I would say, at least officially sanctioned since we're sponsoring it. It is a community tournament, but maybe the first one that is like having our hands in there, and I'm excited that that's going on. Excited to see it. It's going to be happening in Worlds, of course. Right now, there's a dev takeover as well. So if you want, you're looking for a second stream to watch, you want to, what is it, like multistream.tv or something? There used to be another
something
one
like that.
to do something where you could watch 2 at once. You can keep us going, but you can also go to DKO Game, where there's a dev takeover on the stream right now, so you can see and ask the devs some questions about
Please
the
don't
game
leave us.
and how things are going. Mifflin does not want to be left alone, though. So scan the QR code, play in the tournament, watch DKO Game, but also don't leave us, please. We have abandonment issues. Or don't look at me like that. You didn't want people to leave either.
Well, yeah, but I was going to say it was because of some deep-rooted psychological issues from my youth.
I
just like,
do
I
have
like having 'em here.
separation anxiety. Like, pretty badly with my dogs.
No, yeah, I get that for
Okay,
sure.
yeah, that has been a genuine recurring problem for me, but we're working on it, and that's what the Wardens are going to be doing here. Is they're working on it because after game number 1, they're going to need to. 0-1 reads the scoreline. Hounds a little bit of a stumble along the way there, but they do finally get the win. But Mifflin, there's a point we look up, and I'm sure everybody's watching. 10,000 gold down, and we're like, okay, 10,000 gold, surely is in the back. 5 minutes later, the Hounds are mostly dead. I think Oathhh is alive with a fire giant, gets killed off by moswal, and it feels like it could be the end of the game. Unfortunately for the Wardens, that was the closest that they ended up getting. The Hounds able to fight back with a vengeance. But they took a good lead. It just took them a while to convert that lead into the dub.
So let's run it back all the way to the beginning, because it's been a while, 40-some-odd minutes since the start of that game.
It's been a while.
Do you remember how Ducky started that match? Solos his lane opponent, walks in the jungle, gets another kill, and then gets a third one, not actually in his pocket. I believe it was Oathhh credit for the third kill of the game. But that was all in the span of about 2 to 3 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, Eldritch Hounds just going to do Eldritch Hounds stuff, run with that lead. Weren't quite able to confirm it. 15 minutes later, after they had established the 10K, that's where the stumbles started to occur because of the phenomenal performance, I think, from, in particular, moswal getting the better end of a couple of 1v1s up against Crimson, RelentlessOne, after he survived that pretty hellacious solo lane, was able to get involved in the team fights as well. But regardless, cooler heads prevail, and the Eldritch Hounds prove why they've been at the top so long and so consistently in the North American SCC, off the back of really strong ultimate placement from Crimson, not only securing objectives, but at times even making the decision, hey, I know Fire Giant's at 20%, Earthshaker probably pretty cool for securing it. What if I just hit 2 people instead? I believe I saw that twice in this game, just completely separating some of these fights, or at times it's Quig just starting up the engagement with a landfall that immediately resulted in a kill, or Ducky, who just had a field day all game. I know we had already talked about his first 3 minutes, but he didn't particularly look bad at any portion of this match. The Eldritch Hounds, just a force to be reckoned with.
You can tell how this game went. Look, moswal is 11-3-5 and defeated, so very solid game. Reason he was getting highlighted early on. Unfortunately, Schlemy not able to match the counterpart. Oathhh 12-9, right? A lot more deaths up on the board, but also a lot more damage and a lot more kills, and that's what matters most at the end of the day. He was able to convert those into dubs with the boys. And so the Hounds find themselves a victory, and now 1 game away from advancing. And ideally, Mifflin, for them, probably want to do it a little cleaner. I'm proud, though, that the Wardens came in, again, with a jungle change, things that were shaky, they were 4th seed. That they're giving the Hounds this much trouble is a good sign.
It is. Schlemy slots in very, very well. Maybe needs to clean up some of the actual dives on field, especially towards that mid-game. Felt like that Pele was used to the previous set where he was just dominating. This time, need to reset himself, figure out, all right, well, we're actually playing to a deficit. I can't just volcanic lightning every time I want to. But otherwise, I really did like what we saw from the Kaolin Wardens. And if they're able to keep up this level of play, this is not a guaranteed set for the Eldritch Hounds, not by any stretch. But first step, little one in the department. It's a good way to start.
And it's one of that conversation. We always have it around best of fives. I know best of threes. I will hands down agree with you that the first game is always going to be the most important in best of three because now you got to win one more if you're the Hounds. It is going to be a lot of pressure on the Wardens to try and win game number 2. They are still going to be first pick going into it, Mifflin, when we do jump into picks and bans. They did things like, ban Thor, they had the Emoji, I believe, as well as the Daji. We'll see if they go back to those 3 bans or if they change things up as we jump into picks and bans. Do you think that there's much draft-wise that needs to be shaken up, or do you think that they could go back to something similar and just adjust play on field?
Considering the fact that the Wardens were able to fight back into a 10,000 deficit with their composition,
pretty good.
I'm not so concerned about it. Just clean up that early game and the rest will follow. If it were to be a complete run back, a salty run back on both teams' drafts, I don't think I'm feeling too particularly poor about either one of their odds in game 2. So maybe adaptations, stop feeding the hot hand. You want to take that Vulcan away? Sure, I'm all right with that. Feel free. The Crimson was looking pretty good, was securing a lot of those objectives, was really landing a lot of those ultimates consistently as well. Maybe get them off of it. Doesn't seem like the Wardens are too concerned, though.
Now they go back. I was wondering the Thor because it was banned very first last game. I was wondering if that was where they were going to go with this. No, they ban it out still. And so their first pick is up in the air. Ishtar does get banned alongside the Athena and the Kamazots on the other side. It's the Daji and the Emoja joining the Wardens bans. And if you were wondering what was going to take priority in their mind as the #1 pick, Ymir, jumps up to the very top. Admittedly, good freezes, good walls, they can change games, but a lot of the time it's because you've got a lot of good help around you as well.
I mean, Ymir's a strong pick, right? Yeah. You're largely immobile, so it does give over an opportunity to the Hounds to go ahead and just draft some counter walls or just hyper early aggression, jump on this Ymir in the early, and make sure he isn't allowed to transition into that mid game. But we've seen Ymir first pick in the SPL very consistently. What he does bring is very hard to deal with regardless, and just because he's got that wall doesn't mean you're going to be completely shaking up your draft, just going all in on leaps, as exemplified by the Hounds, picking up the Cern immediately. Ymir's got an okay matchup into him, so long as he doesn't fall behind. Ymir is very, very difficult to play from behind. We've seen the best players in the world, the best Ymir players in the world, really struggle. Neomod not immune to falling down a couple times in the early and having a quiet performance. We've seen the same from Geno. We've seen the same from Genetics as well. There are opportunities and ways to fight in, but when a Ymir is rolling, I mean, it is stifling what he can do with that wall.
And he's got a lot of good backup to try and help with that, right? Ram, Vulcan locked in alongside that Ymir. The Merlin taken away this time, despite, as you highlighted, a good game from Crimson. It is worth mentioning moswal just had a better game on the Merlin. And better, at least in terms of KDA. I think the damage was a little lower.
No, it's 2K more.
Was it? Oh, it was 2K. Oh, yeah, you're right. It was 2K more.
Oh, wait, no, Vulcan was 2K more.
One of them was 46, the other was 48. That's what I remember.
Close.
And so knowing that it's like, hey, you're going to get about the same damage from him, and he's going to have a better KDA than you, yeah, that's something to deal with. So strip that away. Plus, as mentioned earlier, Merlin was in both of the highlight reels for both these players for good reason. moswal this time will be taking the Vulcan, so we get the same mid matchup, just swapped. Susano gets locked in, and then a couple of bans fall through. The Pele, the Lancelot on one side, the Hades, and the Guan Yu banned away from the other side. And then Mifflin, Tyr gets locked in, of all things. And again, after what we just saw, not really complaining.
No, the Tyr performance was clean. The rotations were there. The laning phase was great. Start the game with 3 kills in the first 3 some odd minutes. So what's really the concern? I haven't got one for Ducky in that lane. What I am concerned about is a trend that has developed for the Wardens in the past, where I couldn't tell you where this Osiris and this Nike are going. We've seen Nike in the jungle from Schlemy pretty consistently. I expect Osiris to perform a little bit better there, but if that's what you're comfortable on, again, Schlemy new to this roster, so getting him on a comfortable pick, very important. maybe it is going to be Nike in the jungle. And what that brings is a couple of avenues of play. When we saw Nike jungle meta in the SPL, guys like Sanford Soccer were piloting it pretty consistently. I coined his build the Tac Nuke build. I'm talking like Hidden Dagger, or Hidden Blade rather, just go full damage route, Heartseeker, jump in, proc your ultimate and say, everyone died around me. I didn't live very long, but I did a ton of damage. That is an avenue available to the Nike, but it's high execution and one that can be really countered out in the early. One Sunder pickup's all it takes.
Yeah, sometimes it can fall apart instantly. We'll see if that Sunder pickup comes through. It's one game for a promo here for the Hounds. Let's see if the Wardens can stand in their way.
Will the Eldritch Hounds be the first team in their group moving on to the next stage of play, or are the Kaolin Wardens gonna bounce this one back and take us to a game number 3? It's J-Mac, Trelly, and Doug during the action of game number 2. A swap of the mid laners, at the very least, for their god selections. This time it's gonna be Crimson piloting the Merlin after the performance that moswal had on. I'm not surprised one bit, Trelly, that the Eldritch Hounds wanted to get that pick away from moswal.
I thought we were going to see Schlemy on the Nike jungle once again, and I'm glad that we're not. Just because Osiris is so much more damage-oriented in the early, especially with that Mannequin Scepter build. I'm excited to see exactly how this Osiris decides to play the early. I don't think Schlemy's been a jungler that has been wanting to get incredibly active, but with this build, you're almost forced into it, and you have the opportunity to. If you can just find anyone without an escape, or you can force a relic down and then you just use that sickle to slow and start getting Mannequin Scepter procs, it really can be some great times, especially over in this duo lane, or like a solo lane in this case. If you got 2 over there, it would become the duo lane. Ducky back on the tier. I'm probably going to keep my eyes on him, because last time, sparks were flying where that tier was in the early, and I can only assume similar things to come towards that blue buff respawn in a couple minutes.
Maybe at least a little easier, though, for RelentlessOne. With that Ren having the knockup immunity on it, might prevent some of those Fearlesses from connecting this time around. But, at least for now, it'll be at least pretty even in the solo lane clear. Relentless getting a slightly better trade out in this one. Will actually push Ducky under the tier 1 tower, and pressure to the dual lane was going over to Quig and Man, bro. They can rotate over, try and go for that first scepter of the game. That one will go to the Eldritch Hounds. And now, at least for my money's worth, I'm doing dual lane once again is kind of the eye of interest. Griff going on to this Rom, something we don't see too often, kind of occasionally shows itself up. But we don't see it very much through, and it feels like either of the Hunter builds that are kind of meta right now, either the crit or the full yellow number style of build, seems like it worked pretty well for Rom.
Yeah, both of them Rom could go into pretty easily. Or you could even go the hybrid build that's like yellow numbers with the Shadow Steel Shuriken. A little bit of a 1-2 punch here, but I imagine neither one of these teams are going to fully commit to this fight early on. Just because Quig's getting pretty low, but has the Interceptor. Dude, man, bro, actually gets stunned out. Quig will have to sting away, but Griff actually dashes in here.
One more auto will do it. Kaolin Wardens on the bird force, but Two-Man Bro is going to bait the shell out now from Geno and Griff. And is this another kill? Griff rolls in, and it's a double kill for the dual lane Hunter. Kaolin Wardens on the board early.
Yeah, that's going to be a we were just talking about what Rama could do, and actually Schlemy gets pulled back in, does have the tether, so Ducky has to get out before it's too late, and that stun comes through. But blue buff able to stay up for the time being. We were talking about what Rama can do, and with a 2-0 lead, Rama can do all that and more. It's going to be a very oppressive lane here for Dude Man Bro. And it looks like trying to pull Geno back in is going to be the call. Bramble Blast does not get the root because of a great wall from Geno, and he will be able to walk away just fine and confirm both purple buffs. But there was a bit of a scrapping over in duo lane, or gosh, solo lane. Why do I keep saying that's duo lane?
There were 4 people there. Might as well be duo.
Yeah, it's double duo at that point. And Ducky, unfortunately, was not able to find any sort of damage, but Schlemy was close. It was close to getting a kill there. I guess getting killed, I should say. And that Centaur almost got a kill as well. It was close.
That'd have been twice now.
Yeah.
Once on to Oathhh yesterday, and now almost to Schlemy, but Schlemy recognizing he's got enough damage to clear that one out. Actually, what seemed to have happened on the right side, because I see that both blinks had been used, is I think that Oathhh blinked in, found the pull, and Ducky was initially trying to like blink behind for the Fearless, but the pull actually grabbed him out of Fearless range, so Ducky was just kind of sitting there like, well, I guess I've wasted my blink. There's nothing else for me to do, and now he has to dash away from the tether that Schlemy had there. Could have been a kill, but slight miscommunication by the Eldritch Hounds have now netted the Kaolin Wardens a 2-0 kill lead. And maybe a little bit more. Big freeze by Geno. Schlemy goes in. Tether's only going to connect onto Quig, but Quig will be just fine. Even the sitting level 3 on this Maui. Still pushing forward for the fight back. Mid-camp will actually go to Quig. I thought maybe Schlemy or Geno would walk up and try and take that, but skirmish goes away the Hounds, and so does the camp.
Certainly does. Just off of, I think, good pressure from Geno as well. Has been playing this Ymir and looking real good on it, but those walls are the biggest threat. This early on, no one's got Phantom Shell, and a lot of members of the Hounds do not want to get their beads forced by Ymir this early. Dude, man, bro, sitting at level 4. This is kind of what I was talking about on that wall. Could be deadly, but does not go for the freeze. Is not enough. It's going to be a 2-level differential here, level 4 to level 6. Dude, man, bro, really does need some help. I'm thinking Oathhh might have to make a rotation over to Duo to get this Cernunnos online, because so far these walls have been so deadly.
It's another swing at a Quig. Pretty much every single time that wall is dropped, Quig tries to jump up in the sky as fast as he can. He's been caught out a couple times before he gets up there. So far has only netted a single death because of it. RelentlessOne. A couple of tools to not go down to Ducky's Fearlesses this
so
time
annoying.
around, so it's going to be hard for Ducky to find anything by himself in the solo lane. He's going to need maybe a little bit of additional help from Oathhh or maybe Crimson to rotate over and try and find something there. Because of all of this fighting that's happened, because of all the pressure that's gone the way of the duo lane, it's started to trickle down to some of the other areas. moswal about a half level up over Crim. Same thing for RelentlessOne over Ducky.
Yeah, I mean, Ducky honestly can't do anything fight-wise, RelentlessOne. I just stay in blue stance and farm. That's the only play you got. But Schlemy here, probably able to force the Lawbringer. Not too much chase down after that, but if Ducky keeps getting auto-attacked, yeah, there could be some dive here. It looks like that's the call. Jukes out Lord of the Afterlife, and the Fearless back in. That's not enough.
They need literally one. Tower ends up killing Relentless,
Whoa.
but Ducky does go down. It's the Schlemy this time, but a turnaround kill onto Schlemy. May have just opened the door
Ducky's so
for
sick.
the Eldritch Hounds. Ducky probably wishing he was able to at least get one hit to Relentless, but at least gets credit for 2 assists.
I mean, that was just so cool. There's a lot of juking that happened. Ducky almost was able to live juke so many of Schlemy's abilities, and I think RelentlessOne played it about as well as you can. Tanked it up, said, okay, I'm getting kind of weak now. Can you finish him? And it just kept the towers just kept coming. And then of course Oathhh was able to clean up that kill. So that helps out the other towns on their way back into this game. Kill going the way of Susano, and now a lead in the jungle for the Susano over the Osiris after falling there. And that also, we were just talking about Ducky having a rough time over in the solo lane. Being able to confirm his own blue buff. Also going to help this tier try and fight back in this matchup. Because as you said, if you're counting the ultimate, 3 ways to immune Fearless for Nike, she does not care about a tier.
No, Crimson might want to care about damage from moswal. Ultimate does hit from both, and the turret is what finds the last hit in the fight. The Kaolin Wardens now up 4-1 in kills, 1,500 gold, and now an ultimate down from Gryph. Oathhh trying to deal with moswal in the middle of the lane. Quig versus Dude-Man-Bro versus Gryph. Does have the beads still, and will not need them at this point. Instead, it's beads gone from Dude-Man. Ultimate only grabs Geno. Solar Swing's not going to take Quig anywhere except right back to Geno. A backup from Oathhh. The double Typhoon makes it a 1-for-1 trade, but that's support for Hunter for the Hounds.
Yeah, Dude-Man-Bro, though, was able to get the shutdown of the killing spree that Gryph had, and that's going to be pretty massive. That's going to be some extra gold in his pocket for sure. Killing a 3-0 Rama. It's definitely something that's going to be worth it, but RelentlessOne going for the red buff invade. ErupTCrimson not able to confirm that one for himself. Which means that moswal gets the credit for that, and a good rotation over from Nike. Ducky was just bullying Schlemy in his own jungle. Like, hey, I can't go to red buff, but like I can follow Osiris around. That's going to be the best I can do at this moment. 5-2, but gold only 600 in favor of the Wardens. That's just good farm, and of course, I think the shutdown having a little to do with it. Gryph was worth a lot, and now Dude-Man-Bro able to claim just a little bit of that extra gold.
And Dude-Man now able to at least even out levels because of it. Quig does not want to give up this fight. Will swing in to try and go for the steal. Gets a pull back on oGryph, but watch out because Crim and Oathhh are on the way here. It's going to be a 3v4. Geno yanked back to oGryph. Can't make it to the sky. Oathhh has got to find the kill onto Geno, but he will not chase it down. Instead, it's a Vulcan ultimate from downtown only. Will hit Dude Man Pro. Schlemy misses with a double dive in. Actually gets pushed away, and it's 2 for 1, maybe 3. Oathhh is willing to dive this one and trade his life on a 3 for 2, but it's a double for Moz.
I mean, that's just such a hard play to make at the last second. Oathhh realized pretty much immediately, I'm 3-0. Do I want to go for this? I'm not even sure if he tapped. He probably just knew, wait, moswal is 3-0. I do want this shutdown kill, and decided to go for it. And he was able to get that one. That helps out the Hounds and actually puts them in the lead now. 5-7. Kills-wise, they're down, but gold-wise, a little bit ahead. And that's a beautiful fight in there. I thought that Quig was crazy jumping into that purple buff, and I think you probably thought the same, but the rest of the team rallied so quickly towards that purple buff. And moswal's ultimate was just a little bit off the mark. If that Earthshaker connects, that fight could have went a completely different way.
That would have been disastrous for the Eldritch Hounds with how many were over there and how many that one could have hit. So maybe the Hounds thankful that it only managed to clip a single person during that fight in Crimson. Or no, it was actually Dude Man Bro who actually soaked up the ultimate from that one. The Eldritch Hounds, with all this push back and all this fight back, have evened up the gold to where it's only about 100 to 200 separating. Kaolin Wardens are going to try and answer with a Pyromancer, trying to take control of the gold back towards their side. No answer from the Hounds on the right means Pyromancer goes to the Wardens.
Yeah, Pyromancer down. Doesn't seem like any grouping towards the left side either, so just going to be a quick Pyro and then a reset here for the Wardens. Considering the aggression that Oathhh has been having, despite being in a matchup where you assume Schlemy should be getting the better end of it, the Susano does not want to stop anytime soon. And actually, Geno, looking towards Dude Man Bro on the left side, should be able to find a way out, but all the while, Oathhh finds Schlemy in the jungle. Would he teleport in? Definitely not. Quig has his back, though, and actually, Crimson is the one who dashes in.
He saw last game when moswal's doing this a lot. Maybe I can jump in too, but not quite the level of damage out there yet. So let me drag back by Quig, but I think Quig may have gone a little too far forward. Does immune out the freeze, and Ducky has shown up. It is not too far forward. In fact, it is the perfect distance for the Eldritch Hounds. They get a pick onto moswal, keep this Vulcan at bay, and they're not going to stop there. Geno, wall might be the only thing that saves them, but not even that is enough to keep you away from Ducky on tier.
And now that's got to be a play for the Gold Fury. Griff snipes, could be a threat, but it looks like Quig's going to start this one up. All 5 members of the Hounds are here, and it's pretty much just Griff who's getting zoned by Ducky. I don't think he's even going to go up into the sky because of the pressure put in from tier. Yeah, there's no way. Gold Fury goes down. The Hounds put themselves in the lead about 1,000, and you could tell. On the other side of the map, RelentlessOne was nearby, decided, hey, there's no reason for me to rotate over. I'm going to steal some back cam, steal away the Greater Scorpion, and stop the Trebuchet that the Hounds had sent out towards the right side of the map. So I think a good play overall. It's one thing to say, hey, if Nike was there, maybe that fight goes differently, but RelentlessOne got a fair bit of farm and was able to deal with the Trebuchet and make sure that Tier 1 tower didn't get any damage towards it. Tied in the kills department, though. It's all just about keeping the team alive. I think Schlemy is falling a little bit behind jungle-wise. I mean, Oathhh has been finding him in the jungle and actually winning those 1v1 trades. With the Golden Blade start, Osiris isn't doing as much damage as you would expect. Maybe needs a kin size online sooner rather than later.
Kaolin Wardens, after losing that Fury, have now fallen behind for probably the first time this game. 13 minutes in and more kills than minutes at this point. It has been a lot of scrapping by these two teams, even in the XP department for the two of them. And Quig has been nothing but about the fight. It seems like every moment we pan over towards this Maui, he has got somebody hooked or is trying to get set up for that landfall ultimate. I like to see it. I mean, this Maui is something that came up into the Pro League during Phase 3 playoffs. We saw a lot of back and forth. Another yank on a moswal like this to set up for the hook to pull him back in. Backfires enough to get him out, but Ducky from the back line has dove under the tower to take moswal out of this fight. Quig will not make it out of this one because RelentlessOne has shown up to make it a 1-for-2 trade, but that second one was Schlemy who tried to defend the tier 1.
Yeah, and I think the Hounds are happy with that. It just seems like Quig and Ducky are so on point and just zoned in with each other. Quig only goes in like that when he knows, hey, there's a tier that's got my back if we can just get the Aegis down. And they could. moswal dies, tier 1 tower being looked at, and once again, RelentlessOne not making the rotation over, just split pushing right, gonna take away a blue buff and get a tier 1 tower down. That's not gonna be worth it. The Eldritch Hounds are able to grab this tier 2. Gryph is in the jungle, but can't really go for the defense there, so the Hounds get their picks and get 2 towers for their troubles. It looks like Art is gonna full on retreat. No Pyromancer or Oni Fury to look at yet. So they're just gonna grab some neutral farm on their retreat. Probably get some wards down as well for that Pyromancer that'll spawn in about a minute or so. The Hounds are certainly in their element. Just looking for the aggression, and then gotta keep your eyes on this tier. If I'm the Wardens, I'm Warden behind towers. It's just Mercury at this point. Ducky can be anywhere.
Ducky's found our new age Mercury, and that's tier. And it's really been showing that you cannot take your eyes off of the solo laner. moswal has been bullied quite a bit this game. Not enough damage just yet. Take him out. Typhoon does not connect, but Landfall does. Bring him right back in. Slam down on top. But you'll need some extra damage because moswal is just walking away from this. Oathhh does not get that luxury. Quig, knocked up by RelentlessOne. Snipes from Gryph are good. All 3 connect. And that is a 2 for none for the Wardens.
And now it looks like the Wardens are heading towards where the Pyromancer would be, but since it's not here, I was going to say, are they going to go for something more? No. Greater Scorpion has their eye, and actually, Dude Man Bro dashes in. A true 1v1 versus Gryph. There's no snipes. The Aegis went down for a bit. It's about crit RNG here, and Dude Man Bro wins it.
Barely, though. That was close, especially with the ultimate being Aegis by Gryph, but still holding on to the beads for the next fight is Gryph. I'll have those snipes back up then. And Dude Man Bro gets the 1v1 he's been probably so desperately wanting for these sets. I mean, every time we panned over in game 1 to the dual lane, it was Geno ganking the lane, keeping Gryph alive, allowing Gryph to find these picks, to find those kills. Dude Man Bro was just wanting any kind of moment where he could be left alone, and now we can see what happens when he does get that 1v1 opportunity against Gryph.
Yeah, Gryph didn't even have Wind Demon completed, though. That was definitely an item differential going the way of Dude Man Bro, and it was still extremely close. And remember, Gryph already sniped. If Gryph snipes were up, and of course, you know, Dude Man Bro probably doesn't take that fight if they were, but just if they were, would have had plenty of extra damage online. So the Eldritch Hounds going to grab Pyromancer, push that gold lead up even further, and grab the Greater Scorpion on their way out. This is what I was talking about, though, Tucky. Almost never with the team, close by for sure, but always putting some good presence between himself and the squad to set up, just in case. Plenty of lockdown, plenty of CC. I would say the Warden's most valuable relic on any of their carries is the beads. And moswal's not going to have it for another 50 seconds or so. Gryph and Schlemy are sitting on their beads for the time being, but this Osiris sitting 1 and 4 has been targeted more often than not in these engagements.
Yeah, moswal's got to try and stay alive through these, but I mean, we saw what happened last time. It was just Oathhh and Quig trying to kill moswal. It wasn't enough damage. Swing by Quig. Won't get him very far this time around. Ends up jumping back down in place. Ducky frozen. We get a push on to Geno. Not the ideal target, but at least one to back him away from the squad. Landfall will yank him back into a wild hunt. And Ducky is still going in. One Fearless and an Earthshaker from moswal, but that's the ultimate down from the Vulcan. And Ducky has not given up. He is still pushing through his back line.
Yeah, Ducky does not care about the damage so far from the Wardens, but that Oni Fury spawned in, and that's where their attention has gone to. Once again, the snipes from Gryph could be an issue, but with Oathhh playing zone duty, Ducky in the back line just fearlessing around. This Fury should go down for free unless RelentlessOne can blink in, but he's not blinking for the Fury. He wants to fight.
Sunder used to break the shield away. Quig jumps in. Ducky is not left the back line for even a moment, and that's been enough to now bait out the snipe from Gryph. This could be a collapse in by the Eldritch Hounds, but as soon as Gryph lands, he doesn't get out of time. Quad freeze from Geno, plus a wall to set up for the ultimate. Dude Man Bro still lives. Geno goes down, but Schlemy's going to capitalize and at least take one, but Oathhh makes it a double kill for himself. RelentlessOne shoved against the wall, jumps away, but one more auto is all that's seen. It's Ducky to do the deed. Geno makes a fantastic play, but there's just not enough follow-up.
Yeah, I was just amazed that Griff was able to live there. Used that ultimate to immune the Fearless, did not have beads available, and was able to come back down. And I think Geno and Schlemy were able to peel just enough so that the ADC gets away. And now Griff is just going to push in left lane and try and get some extra farm in the meantime. But it doesn't look like Crimson is left. Actually was camping that red buff. Probably a little salty about last game where moswal was able to get the better of him in the matchup. And said, hey, I can go for a solo kill as well. But moswal's not falling for that one. The Eldritch Hounds are grouped up heading towards Fire Giant. But it looks like ErupTCrimson is going to go for the buffs on the left side of the map first. So maybe not burning it down immediately. And RelentlessOne has the teleport, so Nike would be able to get involved if that was the call. Probably just going to get some ward vision down and then set up for the engagement because Dude Man Bro is here at this Fire Giant. He has made the rotation, just waiting for the rest of the team as the Trebuchet pushes down right.
Trebuchet, we push with Dude Man. Oathhh finds the pull on a Schlemy and gets the Lord of the Afterlife away as well. Detrimental for Schlemy come this next team fight, or maybe even a Fire Giant push. Dude Man Bro has left a Trebuchet to take out Tier 1. And the Hounds go for another pick. Pull on to Geno. Earthshaker will take down Oathhh. 1,000 damage. Will erase the Susano. Hook will pull back Geno. A second hook to yank him once more. And the Eldritch Hounds had finally gotten the one pick they were looking for, but it cost them their jungler and maybe a little bit more.
That is going to be the chase down, and it looks like ErupTCrimson in the back line is just going to pour out with the Malua, and gets the kill onto Schlemy with that burn, but now RelentlessOne is the next target of the fight.
Snipes are good from Griff, but as soon as he lands, it is Ducky to put him down. moswal still untouched throughout this entire fight, and maybe one of the only reasons that fire wasn't pulled by the Eldritch Hounds earlier on, but that was earlier. With 4 still alive of the Hounds, they can take away this Scorpion and go right to the Fire Giant.
moswal is close by, though, and has Earthshaker. Does look like on a path through the jungle, but it looks like it's going to be a risky call. The path has been warded out and pinged, so Ducky knows exactly where this Vulcan is, and honestly, it's too little, too late. That Fire Giant should be able to go down, but they're stalling a bit. The Eldritch Hounds claim it, Lawbringer away. Smart call. The Hounds should be able to get out in that one. About 6,000, 7,000 gold, give or take, in the lead. And besides Oathhh dying to that ultimate, there hasn't been much going in favor of the Wardens in these engagements. 22 minutes in, and this kind of a lead, with still 2 more Tier 2s to go. That's a lot more gold the Hounds can use to put in their pockets before they decide to actually break the base, or at least attempt to, in these Phoenixes. But I think you're right. It's difficult to push into moswal still. This Vulcan has a lot of damage, even without those Earthshakers connecting.
When they do, Oathhh has felt the pain. 1,000 damage. Plus, I think it had to have been either a meatball or a backfire that connected right alongside it. Just remove the health bar of the Susano. So Oathhh got to play a little bit more cautiously around this Vulcan. But Eldritch Hounds, as you highlighted, 6,000 and climbing gold lead with still 2 towers left to continue to expand that one through. But only a few minutes left on this Fire Giant power play. The first minute has been used to back up, to regroup, and now move over to this left side where Dude Man Bro has already started his push with Quig.
Yeah, and RelentlessOne is split pushing on the right side, maybe trying to get enough gold to try and upgrade that axe, the starter item. Will not be able to yet. That Tier 2 and left is going to drop, and RelentlessOne channels the back immediately. Not going to push up any longer. He realizes the Phoenixes are going to be under siege. Now the Hounds have to play this one slow. Not going to be easy. We've seen the walls that NotGeno has been able to put up, which really makes it difficult to walk into this Phoenix. Getting caught out without a Phantom Shell could be disastrous, and guess what? No one on the Hounds has it. Whereas Geno actually has the Phantom Shell for himself because of that landfall that Quig has been able to put up time and time again. It's a 2v1 in mid, but RelentlessOne is going to get pulled back in.
RelentlessOne, quarter HP, gets the ultimate just in time to not get transformed by the Wild Hunt. But RelentlessOne will have to go back to base, and that was 3 ultimates used to try and kill the Nike, and none of them going to be successful. 2.5 ErupTCrimson's was just the transform during all of that one, but not going to have Typhoon, not going to have Wild Hunt for this next push.
Certainly not. is going to slow. ErupTCrimson was able to get some of those enhanced auto attacks towards the Phoenix, but the Hounds still want to go for this split push with Ducky and Oathhh in mid, and then the rest of the team over to left, but it seems like Quig is just bouncing back and forth. RelentlessOne doesn't have the ultimate this time and is absolutely gone.
Sunder on a Schlemy, miss of the swing, and so Quig not going to find a connection that time. Left bird, half HP. Well, it still stands up. Dude Man Bro still giving up the push on that side. Ducky even blinks over to try and keep Gryph from defending on the bird. Gryph gets some big damage onto Oathhh, but Gryph has got to use beads. And a just Lawbringer in by Ducky. A push against the wall will not matter for the shell. And Crimson finds another one on the other side of the map. Dive away by Schlemy. It's just him and Geno to defend against 4. And game 1 was 41 minutes for the Hounds to get to this point. Well, they've expedited that process. Schlemy goes to the back line, but it's getting melted by the damage of ErupTCrimson. And the Eldritch Hounds will be the first team in their group to move on to the second half of play.
Yeah, what a dominant performance. I think Ducky had a fantastic set here, but ErupTCrimson as well. This Merlin has been doing so much damage numbers throughout. You said burn, and I think that's exactly what we were seeing. There was a ton of burn coming from that Merlin. And I think the entirety of that squad, especially Dude Man Bro, had a terrible start to that game, getting double killed and giving Gryph just the lead of the century, and still being able to come back and make an impact in those team fights. Not easy to do.
And that's just what you get when you have a squad that's been together as long as this team has. Again, bringing Ducky in during this phase didn't really change much. They kind of just plug him right into the team. It seems to be a perfect fit for this build. And the Eldritch Hounds will be your first team to move on to the second half of the group stage in that elimination week. Quick 2-0 for the Eldritch Hounds. That's it for me and Charlie on the cast. Throw it over to the desk to break it down.
That is a nice 2-0 here for the Hounds. Again, game 1 maybe a little more bumpy. Game 2, a lot of good-looking KDAs that line up. Look, Ducky looks good, Oathhh looks good, and of course the casters, as you hear it at the very end, highlighted. Yeah, you know what? The casters look good too.
That's right.
I was going to talk about Crimson and how they were mentioning Crimson, but you've got a good point there, Mifflin. I was wondering what was going to happen when they locked in the Merlin. We knew that Crimson has a good Merlin. We know that Crimson's just good in mid. It was like, okay, well, you're taking it away from moswal. What's moswal going to be able to do on the Vulcan? And, well, the answer was a lot still. When Crimson, what are you going to be able to do? And the answer was a lot, maybe even more so. I mean, just really good play from the Hounds this time around.
I mean, just top to bottom, Ducky has a phenomenal performance. Oathhh puts up a crazy KDA as well. The Eldritch Hounds, I think, maybe not happy with the absolute earliest portions of this game, but still certainly very happy with what they were able to do in the mid to late portions. Just find a kill, fall back, grab an objective, rinse, repeat, keep the Kaolin Wardens off the footing, just make sure that they're not balanced or able to walk back in as a 5-man stack, and every single time without the 5 stack, the Eldritch Hounds say, oh, it's a 5 versus 4, it's a 5 versus 3, it's 5 versus 2. This is feeling really, really good. I think that is just a bit of a difference in experience because this game started, I believe, 5-1 to Kaolin Wardens. I'm looking at the gold lead and I'm like, ooh, that's not exactly very high, is it? And, well, we saw what happened when the Eldritch Hounds started to get their kills, and I looked at the gold lead and I was like, oh, that is one. They got a gold lead, and it was significant.
I mean, even right there, it was 11-13, but like 5,000 gold separating them. I also, and this is gonna admittedly be some ignorance on me, I had no idea that tier skin existed. This is the first time I have seen that tier skin.
Nice.
I'm so used to Sock Puppeteer. It's the only one that I think I use when I play, so shoutouts to Ducky for informing me that there's I was looking at it and it made me think of the Nike skin, the pajama skin, but instead with giant slabs of meat beside him. And Ducky made it look good, 6-1-10. So there you go. There's a skin to go by. If you want to be like Ducky, that's how you have to do it. A lot of good play from the Hounds, though, and while the Wardens, I would say, put up more of a fight than maybe you would expect from first and fourth, especially given some of the times we've seen these teams meet in the past throughout this year. I think that they are definitely looking really good for that second spot. Unfortunately for them, they're still going to have to fight for that area. Right now, the Hounds qualify for the final 4 that are going to be playing. Now, this is the end of Friday. We're going to qualify one more team guaranteed right after this set. Tomorrow morning's a couple elimination games as well as promotion games.
Oh boy.
Then we get into that 4 conversation. Then we start talking on Sunday about narrowing it from 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1, Actually, it's just the two. The two are going to be moving forward to Worlds, but there will only be one left at the end of Sunday because the last one's a final qualifier match. They're all going to be joining. And of course, if you want a better representation of all the things I've been saying, we actually have visual representations. They're called brackets, and it turns out, Mifflin, they're way more helpful than me just spouting the information.
Oh, I don't know. You're pretty good at it.
Sometimes. The Hounds, as you can see there, have now advanced. The Wardens will have to play against We Pull Up, who put up a really good fight earlier today against the Weavers. Winner of that one will join the Hounds in moving forward, again, to the final group, the quote-unquote Group C, final bracket, final four, whatever you want to call it.
Group C for champion.
Group C for champion. We had champions because we got two. We're taking two out of it.
That's fair, but only one
there's
can be
like
the
one-
NASCC champion.
Yeah, one's like the winner, and the other one's like the guy that just happens to tag along, right? Yeah, so that's what they're
+1.
fighting for. The +1 for the champion. That's going to be Group A for you, the Hounds. And again, tomorrow we'll find out between the Wardens and We Pull Up who will join them. In Group B, we still have a little bit we need to find out. And that is what the rest of the day and, of course, tomorrow morning is going to be. Sages versus Tanuki. Winner of this advances the same way the Hounds did. Loser will face the Storm for the opportunity to fight forward and become that team to join the winner of match number 8 here in a second and going to the Final Four, fighting with the Hounds and whoever joins them from Group A. Mifflin, initial thoughts, Sages and Tanuki, anything that you have going into that one?
I mean, nothing in particular as far as play on field, but when I evaluate how they've been playing throughout this tournament in particular, just completely ignoring the regular phase, feels like these two teams are pretty equally matched. They had gotten to a similar position, some roster swaps inflicted upon both squads as well. This one, I think, is going to be very contentious.
And this is another one that I think is even more interesting. You know, 4 and 5th, like if the Wardens were playing the Storm at any point, which I think that can only happen if they both end up qualifying, they were both 2 and 3 in Phase 3. These two teams that are about to play were both 3 and 2. Like they were neck and neck the entire time. And so I think a lot of interesting matchups potential for them. And right, again, neck and neck, your second seed, your third seed taking each other on. It's the Sages and the Tanuki right after this.